Hi there, Graham here with another video, and a small apology that this one has taken a little bit longer to put out than I would have liked. Sometimes life has a habit of getting in the way, and I don't have time to come and talk to you. The other thing is we're in the middle of a heat wave, and my studio being at the top of the house, which is the worst place to have a studio, particularly in a heat wave, gets very, very hot during the day if I have the windows closed. If I open the windows, the demolition work that's going on in the school behind the house comes in through the windows, and then you can't hear a word I'm saying. So fortunately it's the weekend and they've all cleared off, so we've got a bit of time. I thought I'd share with you today some of the background into the lyrics behind The Man in Room 17. It's based on a book called The Voyeur's Motel by an American journalist called Guy Talesi. And in 1980, Guy Talesi was contacted by an American motel owner called Gerald Foose. Now, Gerald Foose had bought his motel sometime in the 1960s, and being a bit of a voyeur, thought it would be a great idea to build some padded walkways through the roof space and put some special ventilator grills in the rooms so that he could watch what his guests were getting up to. But Gerald Foose wasn't just some smutty peeping Tom. No, he was conducting scientific research, or at least that's what he told himself. And to prove it, he kept copious quantities of notes, detailing sexual practices, what people looked like, who was married, who wasn't married, who was away with their secretary for the weekend, that kind of thing. And it was these notes that he approached Guy Talesi with a view to having them published in one of Guy Talesi's books. The details in the notes are quite interesting. There were occasions when Foose turned up the heating in the motel rooms to stop people hiding under the bedclothes. There was one occasion he talks about where a couple put the light out, so he went and parked his car outside their room with the headlights on so that he could see better into their room to see what was happening. Sometimes he would go down into the rooms while the guests were out and rifle through the ladies' underwear so he could see what size they were. I've tried to keep the lyrics quite light-hearted and use a lot of double entendre and saucy seaside postcard humour. The actual Man in Room 17 isn't real. He's just based on lots of these different stories put together, as are the other couples, with the exception of the couple in the dark verses. And they are the couple who were selling sweeties to the high school kids. That, of course, is a reference to drugs. Gerald Foose had seen people using drugs in his motel and generally turned a blind eye to it. But this particular couple he noticed, partly because he found the woman quite attractive, but also because they were selling them to school children. And this enraged him so much he went into their room while they were out and flushed the drugs down the toilet. When the couple came back and found the drugs were missing, an argument broke out during which the man blamed his partner for stealing the drugs and trying to make a quick profit for herself. She, of course, denied it, and a fight ensued, which resulted in her being strangled and left for dead on the bedroom floor, while her boyfriend ran away. Foose saw all of this happen, but was convinced the girl was still breathing, so didn't do anything about it. When the girl's body was found by the chambermaid the following day, he felt he couldn't say anything to the police about what had happened, because he'd have to own up to what he'd been doing. As an interesting footnote to that section, Guy Talesi wrote that years later he got in touch with the local police to see if they could shed any light on the story. However, they said they didn't have any records of it ever having happened. Perhaps in the 1960s they didn't keep the records for that long, or perhaps Gerald Foose's record keeping wasn't as accurate as he liked to think it was, or maybe he just made the whole story up. So Gerald Foose was a voyeur, although he liked to think of himself as a researcher, perhaps because he didn't like the idea that people would look down on him for what he was. That's why I included the line about "you're looking down on me, looking down on him, looking down on her." I like the sort of reflective nature of that line, and the fact that it also reflects the reference to the mirror in the first verse. Anyway, hope you found that interesting, and as I say, I will be back with more of these videos and more videos looking at how the music was recorded. So until then, stay safe and I'll see you soon.